Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. Welcome to Purple Passions Boutique NewsBreak Live. I am your host, Mr. Ulysses Clark, and I am here to bring you the exciting events of the week, all the happenings, all of the do's and don'ts, the man with the plan or the man with the rules, so however you want to see it, but I am here to bring you your news break, okay? So, welcome to the news break. I'm Ulysses Clark, and you are on Purple Passions Boutique. That is the platform, but you're on Purple Passions News Break Live, okay? So, welcome everybody. If you are here, you know how we start off the show. Drop that good morning, good afternoon, that hello, that hi, goodbye, whatever it is that you're doing. Drop that in the chat. Make sure you put down where you're coming in from, okay? So, we're going to get started in a couple minutes once we get everybody in. I don't have long, so I have to be brief. Have to get everything in here that I need to say. So, welcome to Purple Passions. You guys know yesterday was Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day to everybody, okay? So, I trust you guys.
And I hope everybody
had a great Valentine's Day from Sheriff Clark. I am the sheriff, all right? So, hope everybody had a good Valentine's Day, okay? Special day full of love. Hope everybody got the love and the things that they needed and wanted. I hope you got to spend time with that significant other if you had one, boyfriend, fiance, girlfriend, whatever it is that you call it. And hope everybody had a excellent time, okay? So it is Valentine's Day, and today will be the last day that we complete our week-long marathon. It has been long. It has been strenuous. I appreciate everybody that participated, everybody that came through for that. I want to give a shout out to my moderators who were there going through this grueling time with us. I want to give a shout out to my admin expert who was putting together this schedule, my wife, beforehand and working through this whole process with a lot of her own stuff going on. So I want to say shout out to her. I appreciate everything that she did for this week and that she always does, okay? So you guys have really been great and super fantastic to my admin expert and my moderators, okay? So, I want to say thank you there. I want to say thank you to the shoppers that participated with the sellers and resellers. And I want to say thank you for all the sellers that participated. You know, it would not have been a success without you guys. So thank you guys so much for being there, okay? I can't speak enough on that. So we're getting some warmer weather here in Milwaukee. So we're coming in from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We're getting a lot of good weather, I would say, right? So I think we're going to be hitting, what was we hitting, 61 this week? My wife is here. She is in the back, okay? So how you doing, Miss Tracy? Welcome, Miss Tracy. I know you coming in from down there in Louisiana.
Hey, ladies.
So welcome in, Queen. You're the first queen to stop in to see me today. Hope you had a terrific Valentine's Day. And thank you for being here, Queen. So we're getting a little bit warmer weather here, thank goodness. So we're getting ready to usher in that good spring. Hopefully, so if we're not seeing any more snow and any more cold, hope we're going to move into those warmer temperatures. I hope you guys are doing the same, okay? So, I see Miss Shane Knight in here. So, thank you, Miss Knight, for being here. Happy Sunday, happy Sunday, happy Sunday. I see Miss Madeline in here. I'm not sure who that is. But welcome in. Thank you guys for being here. Hope you guys had a great Valentine's Day. Let me know. Drop it in the chat. Strong arm in the chat, all right? Let me know where you're coming in from. Happy Sunday.
Hey, Danielle.
Danielle, thank you for being here. I was just speaking about my admin expert and my moderator. I was just speaking about that with you guys, all right? I want to say that I appreciate you guys. Danielle, Shane, Tanya, not Tanya, Latoya Coleman. I'll talk about Tanya in a second. Latoya Coleman, for all the work that you guys put in during this week-long marathon that we had for the Lovers Lane, Lovers Marathon, Valentine's Day Marathon. I want to say I appreciate you guys. I know it was grueling. I know it was a lot, but I want to say I appreciate you guys today. So you smooth today? Yeah, I came out. I had to be the sheriff today, right? I had to put on that red for you guys since this is the last day of our Valentine's Marathon, so I figured I would come in here and I will put on this hat. I told you guys I had another one. So I told you guys that I would come in here and put this on for you guys. I figured no better day than to do it for Valentine's. So, it looks like a Cali Closet hat. Thank you, Miss Edmond. I tell you, Miss Johnetta, she had these, what, about 2-3 months ago? I think it was. I got both of mine from Miss Johnetta. So she's got some real nice things over there. If you guys haven't checked her out, go check her out. She got some real nice things. Johnetta Nelson Scott is her name, okay? So she's over in Illinois. She's got a lot of good things over there, okay? So this is where I got this from. So shout out to her. You know, I like to give shout outs to the people because a lot of, like, this whole outfit is actually a thrifted outfit, right? Besides the t-shirt, right? And the Timbs. But the whole outfit is thrifted. So a lot of the stuff you see me wearing is really all thrifted stuff. So you can go somewhere and look good and come out clean and looking like $1 million and feeling like $1 million, just like a person that shops in the mall. You just got to know how to put it together, okay? So my wife is here.
Hey, ladies.
Yep, I got the red studs too. Miss Pope. So welcome in all you pretty ladies that are here, all right? So happy Valentine's Day to you. We're ending our marathon today. We're going to talk briefly, because I don't have long. We're going to talk briefly about a few things that happened this week and the kind of direction we want to move on these things. I want you guys to, you know, put your comments in the chat. Let me know what you think, how you feel, and we're going to go from there. What else we got? So first off, let me start this. I want to say congratulations to our start of the week, Miss Tanya Alicia, for her outstanding work and performance throughout January and the Valentine's Day week. If you guys didn't see, she highlighted one of our prime time slot on Chocolate Day, okay, which I believe was the 9th, right? And
she was on almost on every day.
Yeah, she was on almost every day, but she's been putting it together, right? And you can see from her statistics, from her stats, from everything that she's doing, things are increasing. And she's increasing on our platform. And I want to say big shout out to you. Thank you very much. So she highlighted that primetime slot. So I hope you guys got to check her out and you guys checked out some good things from her, you know, and get to shop with her. She's a great seller. She's got a lot of nice items, you know. Make sure you go to your payment ready. You follow her rules, her objectives, and her standards, and you're going to be fine. But go check her out if you haven't checked her out, okay? So I want to say I appreciate her. And the reason why I'm recognizing her is because it matters, because a consistent effort strengthens the entire community, and it's not just individual success. And that's what I'm trying to say. It strengthens the platform. It strengthens all of us when you have that seller that's consistently doing what they do every time they get on here, and that's along with all sellers, okay? To maintain professional fairness and long-term growth for all sellers and shoppers, I want you guys to review the following standards and guidelines that exist not to restrict creativity, but to protect the integrity, sustainability of our platform and everyone involved, okay? So, I spent a lot of time this morning, probably about 2 hours, writing down all these notes, rewording, re-putting it together, and try to bring you guys in a format because, you know, as everybody knows, I always say, Mr. Clark has got a lot of rules, Mr. Clark this, Mr. Clark that, right? But, you know, policy exists to protect you. And the rules are there the rules are there because people are not following when you verbally tell them something, right? They verbally commit and then they don't do, they choose not to follow. They give you an excuse and then action comes, okay? So that's why we have policy and rules, right? And I always try to understand that if you work a regular job, right? Like me, federal employee for 25 years, and not any different than someone working a job because you still have a boss, you still have somebody telling you what you have to do. If you don't do what you're supposed to do, if you don't show up, you show up late, if you're not calling and informing somebody, if you just decide not to show up, if you decide not to do a lot of things, guess what? You are going to get written up and you're going to get fired eventually, okay? So your business is your business. You know, when you come to Purple Patterns platform, I put these rules together to not be enforced, but to protect the platform and to protect our community because I believe we have a beautiful community. I believe we have a strong community. And I believe we have a community that deserves the integrity and the discipline and the structure that we provide for it, okay? So I want you guys to understand that's why we're doing this, okay? And that's why we do news breaks, okay? So this is about that professionalism. This is about that standard, okay? So if you guys can, thank you for sharing. If you guys can, share this out to the sellers that you know come on our platform. Share this out to tag 10 people. And let's get this algorithm, this momentum going. Yes.
News breaks are actually here. Hey, ladies. News breaks are actually here to discuss what went wrong during the week, what problems occurred, also good stuff. You know, if we experience really, really good things, so we're gonna, of course, say that too, like the marathon we had, but also discuss problems, issues, situations. You know, so that's why news breaks are here, and we do this. We try to do this every week.
So the first point I want to cover is accepting rights on the correct page, okay? So recently, and it's not just this week, you know, every probably once every couple weeks or once a week, we have somebody that will go looking for our page to accept the rights. And you have to accept the rights on Purple Passions with an S Boutique, okay? If you're on any other page that don't have S at the end of Passions, you're seeing dolls, etc., then you're on the wrong page, okay? So just ensure that you're going live on the correct page. And the reason why this matters is because working from the correct page, it protects the brand consistency, it prevents technical confusion, and it ensures that shoppers can reliably find live sales. Ethical business practices require clarity and transparency so customers know exactly where they are purchasing from, okay? So this is the reason why we have this. I want to give you guys a reason why we say this, and then I want to give you a justification, okay? And if you understand my justification, then you understand why I'm telling everybody this, okay? So make sure that you're on the right page when you're accepting rights. My wife or myself are sending rights early in the morning, so it's going to be inside your notifications. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, because I gotta do my own refresher on accepting rights, right? So we're going to send that rights. They're going to go inside the notification. They're going to find it. They're going to click on it. It's going to give them another page and ask them some questions. Then they're going to click yes or whatever it is.
No, it only says you want to accept the rights.
Do you want to accept the rights?
Yes,
Okay.
so you say yes.
Yes, and then that next page is going to be.
Then you accept it and you
then
have
you
it.
accept the rights and you have it, okay? So it's kind of, I like to call it like a 3-step process. Click on notification. It's going to open up the page. You're going to click accepting the rights, and then you're going to be there accepted with the rights accepted, okay? Pretty smooth and easy. If you have an afternoon, we sent in the morning, you're going to flip through those notifications. If not, then we take them off and put it back on, which takes time. But I want everybody to practice getting in that format, accepting rights. Make sure you find Purple Passions with an S, okay?
And the reason why we're talking about this is because I had three sellers, okay? They booked their own live on Purple Passions Boutique. Mm-hmm. They booked on by themselves, and they're supposed to be on, and like 30 minutes later, I'm reaching out and I'll be like, where you at? You're supposed to be on the page. Well, I don't see the rights. So I was like, I sent you the rights, and then when I send a screenshot,
get hot up in here, isn't it?
Then when I send a screenshot of the rights that I sent, they say I still don't see them. Then it comes out they're on a totally different Purple Passion Boutique page, and passion with the N without the S, okay? So make sure that you're on Purple Passions Boutique on our page. We have it fluctuates between 29,000 followers and 30,000 followers. That's the right page, okay? If you are on somebody else's page who has 453 followers or whatever, that's not Purple Passions. So make sure you're on the right page, and then you find the rights and notifications. So, and this happened 3 times this week already with 3 different sellers. So I don't know how is this possible or what they did, but make sure you're on Purple Passions with the S, okay, and the lip has to be the lip.
You see the lip with the ice in the mouth, you know, the diamond. Then you're there, okay. Yeah. You're seeing little babies floating around. That's the wrong page, okay. So
little babies floating around.
So that's that, okay. So we want to make sure everybody knows where to come. So we cover it briefly and let everybody know. Mm-hmm. Hello, Miss Janice, Trisha. And if I didn't say good afternoon to anybody that came in, I apologize, but a good afternoon to you now, okay?
Welcome.
Welcome to the Purple Passions NewsBreak Live, all right? Please share, tag, and get this and get this information out, get it out, and maybe somebody can that doesn't know that's coming in here can know, especially our new ones that are new sellers on there, not new sellers to selling, but new sellers to our platform, okay? So if they're under 2-3 times, then I consider them new. So let's try to get them in here and get them formatted to how we're doing things and how we're conducting business on Purple Passions Boutique. Point number 2 is going to be arrive early and be prepared. Go time means go time, okay? That's one of the military term, go time, okay? When we have to have our A, B, and C bag ready, it's go time. When they say, hey, we need to hit that flight line, we got to move, it should move and communicate, we're out, okay? All our bags got to be packed and ready to go at a moment's notice, okay? When they call that red alert, we got to be ready to go. So go time is go time. Sellers should arrive at least 5 minutes early to resolve any technical issues such as lighting, internet connections, camera setup, and assistant availability, okay? So I've covered this before, so it's going to be very brief when I speak this, okay? I always tell everybody to arrive 5 minutes early. Why? Because when you arrive 5 minutes early, it gives you time to cover anything that can potentially go wrong, or that is going to go wrong, or that has already gone wrong, okay? If you're having problems with your live assistant, I have to contact Gary. Gary's the first one to tell me, say, hey, let me know before they go live so that I can fix it before they go live, instead of having to jump in and admin your live, because I will do that if necessary to make sure that you're situated. But, you know, what the hell, little baby, what the hell? Yeah, there's a page that says Purple Passions Boutique. It's without the S, and it has little babies on there, and everybody goes to that page and they can't accept the rights, and that's not our page. This is our page, okay? So,
Yeah.
This is one of the things with the live assistant, okay? Also understand with the live assistant might not kick on right away, but it's always running, okay? You have to make sure that your Facebook email and your live assistant email are the same email, okay? That's one of the first problems, the reason why the bot or the live assistant, whichever you want to call it, does not work. If you do not have matching information, it's going to kick you to the left or to the right, and then you're going to experience these difficulties connecting, problems, and it's going to be all jacked up. You're not going to know what's going on. Then you're going to say you can't find our page. Then you're going to be like, I found my page, or I'm just going to go live here and there. And understand, if you don't have a bot, then you're not able to go live. So at that moment, I'll probably come in and say, hey, you need to reschedule. You're going to be mad at me. You're going to be mad that I made the comment inside the live, but a lot of people aren't reading comments. You're not answering calls when they're coming in at the same time. I don't want to call during your live show, so I have to do something to communicate that you need to have a bot when you're going live. So if we all get there ahead of time, we won't have this issue, okay? So this is why we are talking about this now. So everybody needs to be there 5 minutes early.
Yeah. And also what I wanted to say, is this. If you know that you have technical difficulties, right? If you know that you have any situation going on, that you have problems connecting into your life, can't find the rights, whatever, and I message you and you don't answer me, and I see that you're active but you don't answer at all, my right is to cancel the live and put you with $5 cancellation fee in, because we have a cancellation fee for no show. So in order that we know what's going on, okay, you need to let me know. You be like, hey, I'm trying to connect, I cannot connect for whatever reason, or this and this is going on. And my husband, normally he reaches out to Gary, and Gary figure out what's wrong with your bot, how we can connect you, or what the situation is. But not to say anything. Or I had a seller, she said, I couldn't find the rights, so I went live on my page.
Yeah.
But we are sitting here waiting, and the reason why we're discussing this is also, I have 2 moderators that are already waiting for you guys to come in, okay? Mm-hmm. I have an admin expert that is sharing out, that's doing the work behind the scenes, and me, myself. So if I'm free and I don't have nothing else to do, I'm in the live too. And so we have all these people waiting for you to come on, and you are not informing nobody, and you say, I couldn't find the rights, I went on my page. That's the wrong answer. So you will get a cancellation fee for that. So because in that time, the moderators, the admin experts, or we could have done something totally different, or try to fill the slot, instead of sitting here and waiting, and the person is not showing up. So it's just not cool.
Right. So this is about punctuality. Punctuality shows respect for shoppers' time and fellow sellers sharing the schedule. Professional preparedness reduces stress and creates a stable experience, which builds consumer trust and platform credibility, okay? So this is about trust and trust erosion again, and it's about your punctuality, okay? So 5 minutes early so we can find out if anything's wrong, and then listen, if you're having problems, we're going to work from there, okay? So you're not going to be there by yourself. I have 1 or 2 moderators that are there. I have an expert that's bouncing in and out, but her main job is to schedule, okay? So, and then my wife is normally there. I'm there, but I'm there through my wife's phone most of the time, because I hear everything that's going on in the background while I'm working on other stuff. And then when it's any type of issue dealing with technical, then I'm either at Gary, or I'm saying, hey, they need to do this, they need to back out, they need to do this, okay? So these are different things that I'm doing back there in the back, but someone is always there, okay? So if you have any issues, don't hesitate to reach out to let us know. But just saying I couldn't figure it out, I'm not going to inform anybody, I'm going to go over here and do this, then you're going to end up with that $5 cancellation fee, and it's not fair to the sellers that are and shoppers that are there, because sellers are shoppers, shoppers are sellers sometimes, that are there to see you, and you don't give them the live show that they prepared and taken their time out to come see you, okay? So let's be fair across the board. Let's have punctuality, and let's do this the right way, okay?
And I want to say something to cancellation fee. So I had a seller, and I had a specific person, but I'm not going to say any names. So I had a seller that was scheduled 3 times on Purple Passion Boutique to go live, okay? 3 times the seller messaged me and said, I can't go live because this and this. I can't go live because I forgot. I can't go live because blah, 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 okay? So I said, okay, you paid for the live, reschedule. So then we're talking about right now constantly rescheduling. So after 3 times rescheduling, and you, for one live that you paid, right? And I let you 3 times reschedule. And by the 4th time, you again are not showing up. I put you with I put the seller with the $5 cancellation fee on. I said, okay, there's 4 times now that this happened. I will not reschedule you over and over, and you will not show up. So then she said they had a death in the family, and so on and so on. So we came to the conclusion, since we had, and this is not the only seller, this was a few other sellers doing that too. So since we had this rescheduling drama going on, right? So we just said, we don't know whether there is death in the family. We don't know whether you had an accident. We don't know what's going on. But after all this rescheduling, we just said, period, we're charging $5 cancellation fee, you know, if you are not showing up, and that's it. So I just want to, say this again, unless you come ahead of time and say, like, 2 days ahead and be like, look, this and this is going on in my family. I won't be able to do the live. I want to reschedule, and you can reschedule. But don't come 5 minutes, before your live, when you knew you had a live. Reschedule, then don't show up on the reschedule. Then you reschedule again. Don't show up on that reschedule. Reschedule again, and don't show up on that one. I can just not play this game.
So communicate schedule change properly, which is my next point. So my wife is already on it. You got my notes?
No.
You got my notes.
Into my mind right now, but it's frustrating on our end too.
And if you are late, you need to cancel, or you cannot attend, contact the platform owner directly, which would be my wife, okay? And only the owner can authorize reschedules or fee waivers, okay? So that's going to be on her discrepancy, okay? But as I put out last week, that for any circumstances, since we can't tell whether somebody's telling the truth. Some people don't want to tell the truth. I'm telling you, I believe in a resurrection, because I didn't see more people get resurrected than Jesus. Okay. People have died and then came back. And I'm not sure that don't misunderstand what I'm saying. I'm saying it serious. I'm not even making a joke about this. People are on their deathbed. It's shootouts, it's gunfights, it's car accidents, it's all the stuff going on right at the time they have this live show. And then while it's happening, they're contacting you. I don't know why they're not contacting 911, the police department, the fire department, the morgue, the funeral home. I don't know why they're not doing this, but they're contacting us just to get out of doing a live, and that's just, for me, it's just not feasible. Okay. So if you have issues, like I said, last week, I had that child. He called me at 7:45. He said that he was going to be late. He knew at 7:30 he was late. He knew he was going to be late. So I need everybody that's not going to be there to let us know ahead of time. Okay. So,
have 8 grandmas who died in a 4-week time frame.
Yeah.
So. Yes, they do. They do.
Yes. I was on a live last night on this platform, and prior to me tuning in, apparently she had some technical difficulties. So you proceed to say they need to give her a refund as a business. All right, I need to, let me see what else she says on there. This business, they should have some kind of support for the seller. She said she had a 2-hour live, and by the time she actually was selling, she only had about an hour to sell. Yeah, and
okay. That went Ms. Madeline though. First of all, she came late, saying she had difficulties, right? But we gave her the extra time on top of it because nobody was on.
So yeah, I know. So you're talking about, that's one of the sellers I trained actually, and so I reached out to her. She got a message during her live that she saw on the messenger. So What happened was that seller, when the information got back to me, because I addressed it, that seller was or had a double, and that seller was already late. And so the reason why my administration, they got the message saying that there was difficulties with the bot, it was this difficulty and that difficulty. But policy already dictates that 5 minutes, you should be there 5 minutes before, but nobody could find this seller prior to that situation. So we still opted and gave that seller more time because someone had canceled. So we still gave her back that time on the back end. But I also let that seller know on Purple Passion, this is how we're doing things, this is how we run things. So that's how that situation kind of panned out. And I love that seller. That's a great seller. So it wasn't one of those things that it was necessarily, some big deal. But, we still compensated on that end. But should we have had to? No, because the policy is there for people to read and to address. So if you're there 5 minutes early, because we have 15-minute windows normally between each live show. So even if you're there 7 minutes or 10 minutes early, it's enough time to address any issues that you have. And a lot of people, I think what the problem is that they are, I'm glad you said that, Miss Edmond. That's good, because some of the points that I have in here are off of that. A lot of the issues that, and this is why I say communication is key, because sometimes you got sellers that they go live on their own page and they're not doing a lot of the things that we require on our page, right? So that's going to make it frustrating when something's not just functioning just like that, and they don't know the right way to go about that process, okay? Or they may not be using the bot all the time. They may be using numbers. They just may be going through comments, right? So it's a lot of different things, because every seller is different that's going on. So when I talk, I'm trying to figure out, hey, what happened? Okay, this is how we handle it, and if this happens next time, this is what we can do. Don't get frustrated. I appreciate you. Let's try to find a better way of doing it, okay? Mm-hmm. And that's the form of communication. A lot of people think that it's boom, boom, boom. No, if you've had any interaction with me, that's how I am. I'm talking to them like, hey, let's figure it out together. Okay, let's work through the process. Okay, what did you think about this? And that's what you're supposed to be as a business, okay? So it was like no harm, no foul, Like I said, I trained.
But I say if there was Miss Drennan, but if after Miss Drennan would have been a seller, right, mm-hmm. then we could not have compensated her with time, mm-hmm. because the other seller would have been live. Right. So since there was no seller on after her, we gave her another hour. Right. So therefore, she had her 2 hours in. Right. That's how it went yesterday.
And we were lucky that the other one had pushed back till today. So she was able to fill that slot, because we like to compensate, because we know sellers are waiting. We know sellers are preparing for that person, right? So, shoppers. I'm sorry. So, that's kind of one of those things, kind of the luck of the draw, right? So, I'm glad you said it. That was a good comment, actually. So don't retract it. It's a good comment. Some of my points are based off of that, right? So, and that's for every seller that's on here right now. I want you guys to understand, we try to compensate on the back end of things doing it, but we need everybody to be on time, and we need you to be early. And that's why I put that out there, because if you remember originally when we started our platform, we didn't have that early time frame. Everybody was required to get off right at that time. We're jumping right into the next seller. So if you've been through the processes of our changes, that's something that we changed. And that actually changed when our admin expert came in and took the calendar and started putting in those breaks inside the calendar. So that was all Miss Coleman. We can't even take credit for that, and just her being around the business so long and able to give you guys that window. So use that window for the time to make sure that you're up and running. So when you can hot start and have your go time is available. You can go and get started. Okay, Queens. The point number 4 is practicing RIT. You guys know RIT means right time, right place, right uniform, military acronym. Okay, right place, right time, right uniform. Okay, so the place is going to be Purple Passions with an S Boutique. The time is going to be your time slot, and your uniform needs to be modest, professional, and non-provocative attire, okay? So this is about having a shared standard, all right? So what I'm saying is, I don't need queens on there with they cleavage all the way in there, breasts in the camera. I don't need queens in there with provocative attire, okay?
Only a bra.
Only bras and see-through and all this stuff. And the reason why I say this is because it came in the inbox, and then people were talking about, what about being conservative? Nobody wants to see that. Why are they wearing this and wearing that? And in my mind, I'm like, I can't even answer these questions, okay? But I can't even answer these questions. But I understand to an extent, because you got to, like I said, it's demographics. You got to understand who you're dealing with. You're dealing with, when you're dealing with somebody in their 70s and 80s, they have a different outlook in life on what is modest, what is dressing, and what you should and shouldn't be wearing, and they're accustomed to. Now, I'm not here to tell everybody that you got to be wearing a sheet, and a halo. I'm not saying that, right? A sheet and and all this stuff, you just float around in the camera, right? I'm not saying that, okay? But what I am saying is that we need to be modest. We need to be professional, okay? You need to be a representation of your business. You're also a representation of my platform, or my wife's platform, our platform, everybody's platform, our community platform. You're a representation of that. Right. And that needs to be correct, okay? So when what I say is that we all need to have that same standard, that we all need to be in here modest, conservative. We need to not be showing off. Because I always say that, hey, when you're looking good and you got all that stuff going on, say that for your man, your fiance, your boyfriend. That's for them, okay? That's the goodies, right? That's eye candy for them. When you're in here, you want to be professional and you want to get your stuff sold. And being provocative is not going to get everything sold. It's going to get some madness and hate. Then you're going to get that one that's mad that they don't look like that because they older, because you got some of them too. Then next thing you know, all kinds of things is being said, and the next thing you know, they put you on bad attire, the bad attire page on Facebook, because they got the ghost's page too, and then you just, they make all kinds of pages for everything. So I'm just saying, all right. So says I like a lot of your sellers, but some are so loud. I move on. Okay. So that's what Miss Mills said. She said I like a lot of your sellers, but some are so loud. Move on. Okay. So
there's nothing what we can do about this. We've been addressing this.
Yeah, that's some people saying. Some, if you look at the business ethics, some things are ethical and some aren't. To be loud is a way to keep engagement, keep attention. I don't know if they're too loud or not loud, but there is that, even having horns and all that stuff. So some of that is ethical, some of it isn't. I just say it depends on the seller. And if you like sellers, right? I don't know why it's so hard for people to build a rapport with a seller and shopper and say, hey, I'm loving your show, and give them advice, because they don't know, because lots of sellers aren't going back over critiquing their shows and not going back over, which I'm going to cover too later on. So that's something that I'll say for that point, but just to get you thinking that direction. Okay. Dress like you're going to the office on casual Friday at best. I don't shop with some because of the way they look. Real talk. That's from Miss Ivy Lolo Burden Pope. Miss Tanya Alicia says, I understand people's thoughts. However, we as sellers, our brand is our brand. We never know what someone is selling. True indeed. True indeed. So I want you guys to take those comments and look over them too, because I just talk about a shared standard, and I wanted to protect your reputation, our reputation. It keeps the platform welcoming for all audiences, okay? And it keeps attention on the products and the service rather than distractions, okay? And and the thing about this too, trolls come in sometimes based on what you're wearing. So I want you guys to think about that too. And if you're not strong enough to push through when a troll is on there making brash comments about everything that's just unholy on there, right? If you're not able if you're not strong enough to maintain through that process, you're going to break on camera. You're going to break through your live show. So it's a lot of X factors, right, that affect how you dress and what you do. Okay. So if you want my opinion on it, I tell you my opinion, right? And it's just an opinion. And I say this, right? You should dress in a way that's going to be glory to God, for one. It's going to bring glory to your mother. She took you somewhere. She's going to be proud to step out there in public with you, and it's going to represent your family and your children, okay? And if you dress that way and they're going to be that proud of you whenever you're putting on, then I think you're going to be okay. In the military, we have sharp training and all these different types of training all the time on appropriate dress and stuff like that. And you should hear some of the comments and points. There's points valid on both sides. I'm not here to pick sides. I'm just saying, on our platform, let's have one standard, and let's make sure that we're credible for all audiences, and let's move like a unit instead of one being here, one being there, okay? Because without cohesion, we can't make it, all right?
It's a business, look professional. At least comb your hair.
Okay. So truth is modest to me may not be modest to you. You can please most of these people if we come up here wearing habits. Comfy and casual attire is nice also. Hello, great outfit. Thank you.
So I have one thing
It's
to
a
say.
business, not a fresh. Okay.
I have one thing to say about this. This is a seller. She reached out to me personal, right? And she said, "Do you know this seller?" And I cannot say names. So a seller reached out to me that goes also on Pearl Passion Boutique Live. She reached out to me and she said, "Do you know this seller?" And she sent me a screenshot of the seller. I said, "No, I know her from seeing her, but I never shopped with her, or I never had any contact." So she said, "Oh, wow." She said, "Well, I want to just give you the heads up. I received a package from her, and I opened the package, and I had roaches crawling out the package." Okay, and I said, "What?" And she said, "Yes." So I just want to tell you guys, if you see sellers, right, and there is some sellers and they running around in their whole house, and you see a dirty floor, you see everything is a chaos, is not clean or whatever. I don't care how cheap it is, I would not shop with that person just because of the fact of what I'm seeing, what's going on in the background. Okay, now this I have it in my inbox. So I don't know about you guys, but I seen places where sellers basically went on in the living room and all this. So what I'm doing is I'm looking in the background and I'm checking out sellers, what's going on in your background. Okay, if I see that you have a whole bunch of stuff going on and throwing on the floor, and I see your carpet is dirty, and I see, I see spider webs in the back, I just make it a little bit. I just would, give it a second thought, because I'm gonna tell you one thing. Once those roaches, I'm a phobic.
They travel and pass. Once you move
Yeah.
to one location with roaches, they coming. So
They
some go
coming.
around with roaches and
So,
they come back.
I'm
They in
saying
the
one thing.
pockets.
I'm saying one thing. Once they are in your house, right? I don't know how to get them out, but I'm a phobic with spiders. I'm a spider phobic. I'm a bug phobic. I'm a roach phobic. I'm whatever, dirt phobic. I'm a phobic with that. Okay, so so when I saw the picture, I was like, no,
Yeah.
So that's bad. Dirty dishes stacked up, exactly that too. Somewhere in the kitchen, and they selling out of the kitchen, and they have in the back, dishes all the way to the roof. I don't know, ladies. I don't know. Just giving a heads up right here. Pay attention and be careful who you're shopping with.
Miss Todd, you open up a can of worms, okay? You talking about modest. I come in here with a thong and some heels on, and I'm gonna say I am being modest because I'm wearing clothes, and that's all I'm wearing. Don't say nothing, okay? You open up a can of worms, okay? You better stop, Miss Tanya. Unfortunately, being the devil's advocate, if one doesn't like how a seller carries themselves, speaks, addresses, move on, that's the beauty of choice. We get to choose. I don't shop at Goodwill. Okay, hold on.
My family owned a pest control
Goodwill, just
company.
because online selling is the same. Okay. Then we got Santa Mills. I made it when it comes to my house. Beth Captain, my family owned a pest control company for 100 years. LOL. Oh, Lord. Look at everything's coming out. See that? Everything coming Miss Admin, good point. Miss Tanya, good point. Miss Mills, good point. Miss Captain, good point. All those are good points. Look, she's returned. I won't say a thing. Listen, I'm not, like I said, I'm not here because, like I told you guys, like sometimes some situations, it's just that situation. You have to figure what side of that fence you want to be on, because it's going to be right points on both sides. Okay. I think we all know we're all adults here, so we have to know how to walk responsibly and do the right things. Okay. And that's all I ask. Do the right things. Okay. Let's be ethical. Let's represent ourselves how we feel like we need to represent ourselves. I haven't had problems with a lot of that, but when someone sends me those things, and me and my wife, we try to address them on here so they understand that as a community, we do understand what's being said, and we're here to find the solution together. Sometimes me coming on these shows with you guys, it's about finding that solution, because I don't have the solution. Okay. So, that was up in Massachusetts. That is true. I purchased something from a seller, and when I opened it, I could smell that they had a cat. I don't know if the cat slept next to it, urinated on it, but what's unmistakably smell. I think the sellers definitely need to be conscious of where they store their merchandise and things of that nature. Yeah. I agree. Shop where you feel comfortable. Is plenty to choose from. Can I show up in my work gear, please? Come on, Miss Tanya. You always squared away. Don't start. You always squared away. You know, I have no problem with what you got going on. Okay. Like I said, I understand it's different things. Okay. You know, sometimes when we're coming in from stores and my wife is in her and her outfit, you know, if we're just getting in sometimes like I was here in a jumpsuit one time. So, you know, it just depends on what's going on. I just say that, you know, if look, listen, okay, I'm just gonna say it, all right. If you up here and the front of your chest look like the backside where your butt is, right, and you got erections on the front right here, right, and everybody can see this in the camera, do not tell me that's ethical or modest, okay, because that is not something anybody needs to see, okay. So with that said, I'm saying we need to know what we need to do.
Amazon is warning people opening because, oh yeah,
for bugs and mice, yeah. So,
well, let me tell you guys something. This is a true story, right? In the past, happened all the way in the past. I had a friend and she worked for Amazon, and that was in Europe because Amazon is also in Europe, right? So that was back home, and she was my friend. She was also my neighbor, so she was a little bit older, and she thought she gonna make some income on the side, right? This is because I just read this with Amazon. So she worked half day only. So she opened a box, and the box came from Asia somewhere, and a fly was in there, or mosquito, and bit her in the arm. She got so sick. I mean, so sick. She lost all her hair. She got, I don't know what it was. They couldn't figure out what bug it was and what bit her. But she got so sick that she couldn't even work anymore. And then I was terrified about this. I mean, terrified. I would never forget this in my entire life. Not about, you know, first of all, I was terrified. How did it happen, you know, that from China, a fly survived or whatever there was, a mosquito, all the way to Europe, right? then she got bit, you know. That's like, and then Amazon keeps saying they don't have nothing to do with this. Like, this is so crazy. I would never forget this. Poor woman.
When I was in Iraq, look, I got jumped by some flies one time. They stole, when I finally got a piece of chicken, they stole my chicken, okay? So she don't know how flies survive. She just ain't seen them desert flies. You know, those animals over there, they from the hard parts of life, right? They'll jump you. They're aggressive. You know, they attack your food before you get to eat, okay? This is when I was in Iraq and it was nothing but flies, okay? So I don't know if you guys, listen. I threw a rock on an ant, and that ant took the rock and threw it back at me. So what I'm saying is, right? What I'm saying is, you think I'm lying? That ant was huge. I'm like, man, you can't take this rock. Threw the rock, he threw it back at me. I left, okay? So what I'm saying is, all right, things can survive. They got different things in different countries, okay? So, Closelations says, if you should not, then don't. Closelations, okay? So, that's that, okay? You guys got turned up on bugs and stuff, okay? Man. So I am OCD to keeping my place clean. I don't expect everyone to be the same, but at least keep your area you're selling in from in good order. Make it inviting, not a pig sty. Stop, yeah. So yeah, those everything in the desert is big. I don't care what nobody says. Everything over there is big. You know, so
okay. Let me tell you this: when I was on FaceTime with my husband,
what?
And he was
don't listen to this. Don't listen to this story.
He was in his military outfit, right? So yeah,
listen. Those desert flies will pick up a toddler.
He was in his military outfit and he had something to do.
No.
So I'm like, babe, what is this?
Don't listen to this story.
And he said, what? I said, on your shoulder right here, you have something crawling.
Don't listen to this story.
He looks and he all of a sudden jumps up out of the chair. He started running in the room back and forth. And he said, oh my God, a huge spider. And I said, babe, it was a little spider. No, it's big. It knows my password. It knows my credit card. It knows my social. Oh my God, it's so big.
Listen.
He was all the way on the window trying to get the spider off, and it was just a little one.
Listen. I don't know what happened, okay? All I know, it was this huge spider on my shoulder, right?
It was, and
it had to have been sitting there for a while. And I was typing in my bank information, my social, and everything. And that spider took all my information. Then she told me something was on my shoulder, and I looked. And you know when you look from here, everything looks like way bigger than what it is. So I fought myself and fought my shoulder to get it off. Okay, that's all that happened. All right, that's a normal reaction to a spider being on your shoulder. Okay, all right. So I'm just saying, if you've ever been in Panama, those spiders are like that big, okay? That was my first time streaking as a child. I saw one came out of a corner in there. It tried to attack me. I was in the shower. I ran by my mother. I was young, naked.
Was it hairy?
And yeah, I don't know what it was, but all I know is at that time my mother was stationed there when they had the war in Panama with Noriega. So my mother ran in the bathroom and she was beating the spider, and pieces of the spider was flying all over the place, right? And ever since then, I've been like completely terrified of spiders, okay? So whatever that spider was doing on my shoulder, it was too close for comfort. It shouldn't have been on me, okay? So I had to kill it. Actually, I didn't kill it. I couldn't even find it. I don't know where it went, okay? But it still has my information. I'm still looking for him today, just so you know, okay? So
oh my God.
Don't listen to the story what my wife is telling you guys, okay? Do not make don't.
I don't know what I missed, but I stepped away. All I heard was bark.
Don't listen to her, okay? Don't.
Oh my God.
Just because we sold it don't mean we're not scared. All right, a spider is a pretty good
spider. He can have the house by.
I promise you, I looked out the corner of my eye and it just looked like it was like that big, okay? So
yes.
Oh man. But check your packages, make sure because when it's cold and we've all got that cold weather, all those creepy crawlies want to get inside, okay? So let's make sure that we checking our packages, okay? So if you see any nibbles and little holes, you might want to leave it out there.
Nibbles?
Yeah, little nibbles, like usually little bites and stuff and holes in the bag. Throw a can of Raid and hit it with that Raid. That Raid kill everything, all right? So if you got them in your house, go bomb the house, okay?
Tracy said I was so weak.
Listen, I'm not messing with spiders, okay? Like I said, in Panama, they huge. They got tarantulas and everything over there. And my mother don't do spider snakes and all that stuff. I think I left my mother outside one time when I was younger. It was a snake, and she was like, JR, help me, it's a snake. And I looked at her from the window like, I don't know what she expect for me to do with this snake. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm 14. What am I supposed to do?
Yeah, snakes too, bees, all this.
No, I went out there and helped her, but it was, you know, we was helping each other, I think. We were both scared. So, let me get back on track, all right? Know your time zone and responsibilities, okay? Sellers are responsible for understanding their own schedules.
These Florida palmetto bugs look like lobsters. They fly.
Oh, yeah. They big down there.
Oh, my God.
They're big. My mother's in Florida. Yeah, they're big down there. Schedules including CST, EST, and other time differences. Check your schedules. Know your time. Why does this matter? Ownership means managing your own business logistics. Administrative time should be focused on supporting growth, not tracking individual schedules. Personal responsibility strengthens operational efficiency for everyone, okay? So if you guys can keep track of your schedules and your time, it's going to help us help your business grow and the platform grow, and we're going to be able to move in a positive direction, okay? Short and sweet. Respect the communication channels. Please don't be messaging administration and the ownership with the same question simultaneously. Contact the admin expert first and allow for reasonable time for response, okay?
Yeah, and we had really a bad situation this week, and I want to explain the situation real quick because I was really upset and I was mad myself about this because I couldn't believe that we was held responsible for for a seller sales. So what happened was a seller reached out to me after her live, and she blamed our entire admin team. Hold on, babe. You can explain that. I'll just say this right now until we forget. So she blamed our admin team, our moderators, for not sharing her out, and basically for saying that she had the worst life sale event on Purple Passions Boutique because only her old shoppers shop with her, right? She didn't get no new shoppers from Purple Passions, and we are responsible for her not having a great life sale, okay? So, as you guys all know, we always share and we always tag. We always share behind the scenes. Latoya, if you know Latoya, right? Latoya is always sharing, like always sharing. Shane is always sharing. Shane was on too. Danielle always sharing. I'm always sharing. So we sharing and tagging when we can. I want to say this again, we are not responsible for your life sales. We helping you by sharing and tagging that you get more people. We're tagging people into your life, but you are mainly responsible to tag your own people into your life to make sure that you have the item provided that you want to show and the prices accordingly, and you are basically selling your items. We cannot sell your items. We can only bring you the people. But that really had me on nerves with this. And she said that she basically made us responsible for that. So I end up refunding her because she said that she is not happy with Purple Passions and she don't want to go live on Purple Passions and all this.
Well, let me revamp this. So, essentially, you know, when that is the situation that my wife had with that seller. So I said, let me go look. Now, if everybody remembers when I was telling everybody about knowing your insights, your monetization, your engagement, and all that stuff for your shows, right? And if you want to sit down with Mr. Clark, then do that, right? This seller's relatively new, so obviously she missed that whole ship when it was here because we did that a while ago. But I always tell people that before you make a decision, come talk to me and I'll sit down with you and we'll cover those different things, okay? So, you know, when I went back and looked at the information that she provided, yeah, she said she had no shares, but it's a lie. She had, like I said, I have the information there, right? She had the shares. She had the majority of the people that shop were my people that shop with her. You know, no, she didn't have a lot of clients and all that stuff, right? But when I looked on there, I saw sharing and tagging, which was going to be my 9th point on here. And so what I did was I took from the situation, I said, okay, everybody, my platform may not be for everybody. I don't have a problem with saying that, okay? If you're unhappy, you're unhappy. I promise you that we can always find a middle road to walk on and try to figure out exactly what it is that you want, and we can try to work from there. But a closed mouth doesn't get fed. I shouldn't have to go back and look at your monetization because you're making a claim that's basically invalid, because I go validate everything. I verify, I don't trust. Anybody know that's one of my models. I verify everything, I don't trust. You know, so it's just like being in the military. I'm not going to trust somebody to load my weapon for me. I'm going to make sure my weapon is clean and I load it myself so it's ready to go. So I went back and looked at the information, and what I saw was that when we say sharing and tagging, right? Sharing and tagging belongs to the seller first. Then my team is required, and I'm not going to say required. My team, my moderators, you know, I said, once you see them sharing and tag, share and tag, okay? Share and tag to the system. My wife is already sharing and tagging. My wife's already putting your stuff on there. My admin expert is doing the schedule. That's why I have moderators now, and my admin expert is completely focused on filling my schedule, make sure my schedule is full at all times, and she's also over there making sure that that schedule stays legitimate, okay? But she's still coming in outside of that and sharing and tagging on her own, okay? So in that same method, it's also part of the shopper's engagement to share your live on their page, and they're also able to tag their shoppers and their friends, right? So when I looked at the whole sharing thing, right, I can't figure out why she had that many, because if you tagged that many people, where was their job on doing that, along when I can verify that my people did their job too, right? So what I'm saying is there's an inconsistency, and inconsistency breeds things like this. So what I'm saying is that when we come in there, if you ever hear Miss Dolores, right, she'll jump into a live, she'll share and tag, and then she'll say, hey guys, I need you guys to share this live out and tag some people, and let's boost this algorithm, right? You hear Miss Tanya say that. You hear a lot of those veteran sellers, you hear them say that. Why are they saying that though? They're saying that because of situations like this. So that responsibility of sharing and tagging is for everybody. Now, I don't care how many times we share and tag, you have to sell that item. If you have an item that's from Versace and you're on there and you talk about that item like it's a book, and it don't sell, don't be mad at the platform that you didn't sell something that Versace and you couldn't walk that item, okay? You have to have some type of responsibility to the items that you're picking, the items that you're putting on that rack, they're choosing to sell, to walk those items, okay? So I always tell people, if anybody, if I trained any of you, I've trained any of you and you train me, what do I tell you? I said, it's still your job to walk the item, how you present it, how you talk about it, how your background is, how your setting is, how you're looking. All that stuff plays a role. You sell yourself before you sell that item, okay? And that's where you're to gain that trust. And when you deliver it the right way and it's smelling good and it's in a good condition, then people are going to build trust with you. You're going to build that rapport and you're going to be on and popping. But if you're on there and you expect just because you're on a platform and you see other people selling items and that you're going to sell, that's not how it works, okay? Every seller is different. You also got to understand that you can't get on there selling for $80 an item, because I had a person get on there doing that. You know, and if you have a goal of how much money you want to make and what you want to sell, then you need to be realistic and put a framework behind what it is that you're trying to sell. Because without a framework, without any type of strategy or being strategic, it's not going to happen. Okay. So
yeah. And I wanna just say something on this. I believe, like, what my belief is, and that's how I started Purple Passion. Purple Passion's boutique was always, this is a thrifted platform, okay, with thrifted items. Whether we have newer tags, whether the items are, you know, gently used or whatever, it's still thrifted. So, and thrifting means cheaper than in the store, for me at least. I don't know how everybody else is thinking. So I believe that I believe in the principle on Purple Passion that is $10 and under, okay, because I always say I'm cheaper than Goodwill, unless I have really a couple supreme items in here that's like mink coats or whatever, of faux fur, you know, whatever, things like that. They might be a little more expensive, or Coach bags, you know, Victoria's Secret, etc., right? Then, or perfume, or things like this, basically, but still cheaper than in the store, okay? Cheaper than when I would go in the mall, cheaper than if I would go to Goodwill itself. So, and if you rock that way, then you're going to be a successful seller. Because I'm always saying, why should I keep a item for, let's say, $18, right? And I'm gonna show it over and over and over for 5 weeks, and I always keep the $18 up, right? So, and you see that item is not moving, you have to make a clearance. You have to go down on price,
right,
if you want to see it moving. Or you just, you know, put it away, wait a couple of weeks, then bring it out, you know, and reduce it, you know, and put the dollars that you're missing maybe on a different item. I don't know, but I'm pretty much doing well the way how I think is $10 and under, and Purple Passion Boutique is just running well like this. And I see other sellers that are doing $10 and under, and they're selling pretty good. Like Tanya Alicia, for example, I'm in her lives all the time. Looking also, Shane is doing good. She has also good prices. You know, let's not forget Latoya, you know.
Minnie's doing good too.
Minnie's doing good. Minnie's selling like that
Angela's
too.
doing good. A lot of those people.
Angela's selling like that, you know.
Dolores is doing good.
And you
a lot
can
of
always
doing
replenish.
Good.
You can always replenish Dolores too. You can always replenish your items and your racks, and you have always new stuff to show, you know, instead of sitting on your old stuff all the time.
And Miss Gordon says, what some people fail to realize is sometimes it is your personality that gets you sales. Yes, we want what you're selling, but when you have a good presence, that helps a lot. No one wants to shop with a dry, or someone that looks like they have an attitude already. Have to keep professional at all times. One sale better than none. Understanding and appreciating your clientele is paramount. Exactly. So I want you guys to think about those points. I only have like a couple minutes left, right? And I didn't get to all my points, but that's okay. I think we talked about enough things. Food for thought for you guys is that we are a community. We are a unit, okay? Every faction of a live show works together to synergize to make it a good live show. From the shoppers that decide to show up, from the viewers, to the resellers and resellers, to the moderators, to the items that you're showing, to the admin, and to the admin expert,
and to your own presence.
You know, and to your own presence. All that stuff is paramount when you look at a live show, okay? And all works together. So if we do want to make this better and we want to put our sellers out there, then everybody needs to share and tag, including the seller. Including the seller, and it starts with the seller first. Nobody wants to make a move unless they see you doing it. So don't be in here clientele sniping. Come in here and share your customers, because you want everybody else to share their people too, okay? What's fair is fair, what's right is right, okay? And like you said, if it's not moving, discount it. If you have items that are not moving, You show it to, a couple times, kick it to the back of the rack. I tell you this in training, and then I say go into a clearance and discount it. I tell everybody that. So like I said, training with me is paramount because you're going to learn a lot of different things. I'm going to give you tips and tricks that I'm not going to talk about on here. And I'm basically going to tell you how to move stuff. And if you follow what I'm telling you, you're going to be gold. Okay. You're always going to have a few dollars in your pocket. You're always going to get somewhere. The problem is nobody wants to pay the fee for the training. And like I said, I'm sitting there with you 2-3 hours. So I feel like it's worth my time, so, it's going to be worth your time too in the end. So, just so you guys know, I want you guys to think about the comments and everything everybody says. I want to wish you guys a great start to your week. If it's President's Day and you're off, then good. I know my son's not going back to school till Wednesday. Okay, so I got a couple more days with him. I want to appreciate all you guys that came out for this show today. We're going to be live at 4:45. Who do we got next coming after me?
Miss Sherry Smith.
Miss Sherry Smith is coming after me right now. We're going to be live at 4:45. And you guys know what time it is, right? It's gas mask time, right? So I'm telling you, smoke.
Before you go, I know it's beating a dead horse, but can we discuss non-payers and ghosters, please?
That was one of my points that I had on here.
Okay, we still have time a little bit.
That was one of the points I had on here, right? And it was about honoring invoices and payment obligations. Invoices should be paid promptly. Avoiding communication or delaying payment harms trust between sellers and shoppers. Why does this matter? Ethical commerce depends on accountability. Sellers invest time in inventory, and timely payment protects the integrity of the marketplace. Transparent financial behavior builds long-term customer relationships, which leads into shop responsibly. Please only claim items if you are payment ready. Why does this matter? Claiming without intent or ability to pay prevents other shoppers from purchasing and impacts seller income. Responsible shopping supports fairness and respect within the community. Okay, so what is that saying?
No,
Go get him, Tiger.
No, the reason the reason why it just hit me was I don't know why shoppers think that we are rich. Okay. Because they were like, oh, it's not a big deal. You can always sell your items. I cannot pay your invoice right now, but I can pay you in 10 days. And you'd be like, why you didn't tell me that before you shop with me, right? Mm-hmm. So, and I see often, also in my life, I see often shoppers come on and they be like, they shopping with me. And then right after the live, they come and they say, hey, I know I claimed 25 items. But I can't pay for it. But if you don't mind waiting 9 days, 10 days, I'm getting paid this and that. I mean, what else can we say, right? If I would be a mean person, and I would say, okay, no, I'll put the item back on the rack, and then sell it. I always say, okay, I'll wait, But also, it's playing with our money, It's playing because we want to replenish too. So what we have sold, we want to take that money and go, like we do weekly shopping, right? We want to go and weekly shop. But if you do that to us, then we're missing exactly that amount of money for doing what we need to do, since we're being cheap anyway. It's not like that we're selling stuff for $20, etc. per item.
Okay, so let me touch bases on this, right? So, Miss Tanya, I saw that message you sent me the other day with that person, and I didn't ignore it. I just wanted to give you your time I was still out and I wanted to give you your time over this weekend. Okay. So, I'm still looking into that and addressing things. But what I always tell sellers is I'm not telling sellers to do what I'm telling them to do, but I want you guys to protect yourself and run your business the way that you run your business. Your payment terms are your payment terms. Okay. If you feel the need to block or whatever it is with that person, then that's fine. I just always want you to document. I want you to document what that situation is going forward. Keep it in your files. Keep it in your Rolodex, however you do it. Keep it so that way you have it, okay? And that person may or may not come back, depending on whether you decide to block them or not. Different name, title, whatever, right?
Actually, Tanya, if I show you, if I take a picture right now and I show you how many bags I have sitting in my living room for my last live, and that was like 4 or 5 days ago.
I got several bags sitting in my living room right now.
I have 12 bags sitting in my living room.
And I see that they viewed the invoice. So I'm under the assumption that maybe they only had a couple items they want to shop some more. But we'll see. So I let mine run until like 2-3 lives. I'm like, okay, you're getting an invoice. And then I let them know, look, you have open invoice. You didn't come back and shop. If you don't want the items, that's fine. I just resell the items. It's not a problem for me, because I don't put extra stress on myself. I refuse to do that. Stress is the biggest killer in the world, okay? So what I'm saying is I want you guys to practice what I'm telling you right now, okay? I want you to document, okay? I always tell you guys, because I believe that our jobs, we're selling for money, so it's our job to track down the money. A lot of people say, I'm not tracking down nobody, I ain't got the time or whatever. Okay, that's fine. I'm not telling you to. I'm just telling you what I personally believe. So, like I said, even if it's $1 or whatever it is, I'm going to track it down. I'm going to find out what's going on, because my time is into that. My effort is into that, okay? And you may or may not like the response, but hey, at least you know, okay? So at that point that you make that decision and you decide to give it to me, then I'm going to do my best to get you paid. And I may or may not be able to get you paid, but at least we know where we stand and what we need to do. And I think at the end, that's going to make you a more credible seller, because you've went through the processes. You've went into the trenches in the dirt where you didn't want to be. You're going to learn something from it. You're going to come back out of it, and you're going to say, I'm either going to block this person or not. You're going to make a mental note of this, and then we're going to make that decision together, okay? And that's how you weed out the bad and stuff, you know. Lots of times that, you know, we do get frustrated because it happens over and over. And the reality is you're going to have ghosters. You're going to have non-payers, okay? A ghoster is a person that's in the wind that you have no contact with. And then that non-payer is the one that says, I'm going to pay you. Then they act like they don't see the invoice. You see that they view the invoice. Can you send it again? And then they still don't pay it. And that's just terrible that they do that, okay? So I understand the frustration, but I don't let one or two stop you from doing what you enjoy and giving those of us the opportunity to shop with you. You are appreciated. I got to block her because she still claims on my live, not fair to other topics. Yeah, I tell people sometimes I got a seller that has people like that, and they don't even block people because they don't believe in it. And I just tell them when they claim, they automatically go through the second one. That's why I always tell you, yeah, sometimes it's feasible not to pass, because you never know who that person is that's claiming, and they may not be able to claim, and they're just claiming on there just to annoy the other person, okay? So that's ridiculous. It's not extra stress. However, it's extra work to pack it up, and then they don't pay. And see, maybe you should make up shipping until, maybe we should make up shipping until they pay, which for me is unethical, but what most sellers do. Real spill. I tell you my format, right? I do my invoices, and then I pull the items, and I put my stuff is double bagged, so I already put it in a plastic bag. I put their name on there, I put the date of that live, and I put times, whatever items they have, right? And then I sit it in my shipping there. When they make payment, then it goes into the shipping bag. It gets packed and taped up. We do the label, and then we ship it out. That is my standard and how I do it. Why do I put it in a clear plastic bag and I sit it over there? Then you know what I do? I take it out the bag. I put some 91% alcohol in the bag, and then I take it, and then I wipe it off, and I'm good, okay? I wipe out the bag. I reuse the bag because it's just had clothes in it, and I recirculate those items. So we'll save that for another talk. Miss Tanya, you're not going anywhere. Don't even try it. You hear everybody saying that you can't go anywhere. Don't even think about it. All right? Man, you had this talk already. You're not allowed to go anywhere. Okay?
Next in line, Graceful Gift Shop, Miss Sherry Smith right now in 8 minutes. She's live in 8 minutes.
So, yeah, I got Miss Sherry Smith in 8 minutes. I don't want to impede on her time just in case she has anything going on, okay? Queens, I will post the information for the recap. Thank you guys for being here. And we will reconvene with this point the next news break, okay? We'll start here, all right? So, you guys have a blessed day, and I will see you guys at 4:45.
Yep, we have a 2-hour live.
2-hour live with us today, okay?